Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Review Show. I'm Rogan. The Movie Review Show is where we talk about the latest, biggest releases of the week. So last weekend I saw Spotlight and I saw 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. So the first film I'm going to discuss is 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. It was directed by Michael Bay, who you probably know from the Transformers franchise, Bad Boys franchise, and Armageddon, and starring John Krasinski, who was in the US version of The Office, and James Badge Dale, who you may recognise from World War Z or Iron Man 3. It's a story that follows the events that happened in Benghazi on September the 11th, 2012, where an American embassy was attacked by militants, leaving several dead, including the US ambassador, Christopher Stevens. So, to get started, the first thing literally you see within this movie is true story. Really annoys me. It doesn't say based on a true story. It doesn't say inspired by a true story. It says true story. I think one of the ways they can get around this is because there isn't much story. In a lot of other Michael Bay films, like Armageddon, for example, you will see the inner workings of NASA. You know, here we could have seen the inner workings of the American Army, figuring out how they can save the CIA and the other people that are held within this embassy. But we don't see that at all. Also, the one thing that annoys me with calling it a true story is that we have no telling of why the militants are attacking. We have no story of who these militants are. There's only one shot in the movie where you see the loved ones coming to collect the bodies on the aftermath. That's the only time that the militants are shown as humans. My biggest hang-up, like with all Michael Bay films, is the story. There ain't much. Now, about 30 to 40 minutes within the film, I actually was able to leave that behind because the action scenes, they're spellbinding. They really are. Michael Bay, I don't care what you say about him, he knows how to shoot action. It was, to me, it felt like watching a really well edited, well done version of Call of Duty. You could pinpoint every bullet. You know, there were sparks everywhere. There's always sparks with Michael Bay. Everything makes a spark. I'm pretty sure you need something like speed, metal and ground to create a spark, but oh no, with Michael Bay, air and air makes a spark. I would have liked to have seen subtitles for the militants so I knew why they were attacking. Seriously, in order to watch this movie, you have to understand that you're only seeing one side. You do not see the whole picture. It may say this is a true story, but you're only seeing one side of the true story. That's all. You give an emotional value to the characters because they're people like me and you that have families. The job is that they're a soldier that is there for security purposes only, to keep these people safe. And at the end of it, all they want to do is go home, just like me or you do when we finish work. Just want to go home to our families. That's all that they want to do. And, you know, we're shown that throughout the film. So you do have an emotional value. Now, if I'm going to rate this movie, I'm going to rate it 7.5 out of 10. It's both generous and it's both weak. It's generous because the story doesn't award it, but the action scenes and the direction of those action scenes, the effects, the graphics were brilliant. And if this was an action movie show or graphics within a movie, it'd probably be 8.5. But because I feel the story is weak, we don't see both sides, I'm only going to award it a 7.5. Rewatchability, this is a popcorn flick. You could put it on any time and you'll just watch it straight through. I'm looking forward to grabbing this on Blu-ray in about 8 months' time. You know, that'll be long enough. So, in about August time this year, I'll be looking forward to rewatching this and introducing new people to it. Okay, so on to the next one. Spotlight. Spotlight was directed by Tom McCarthy, who also directed 2012, Meet the Parents, and Up. It stars a really, really stellar cast. Top three names: Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton, and Rachel McAdams. It's a true story telling how the Boston Globe uncovered the massive scandal of child molestation and cover-up by the local Catholic authority. It's a really difficult film. There are a lot of scenes with victims, and they're obviously not the real footage, but the thought that this actually existed. The film is very slow paced. You know, I was ruffling in my seat a little bit. I was never getting bored, but it's not, it's very drawn out, which, upon reflecting on the movie, makes it feel real. Nothing happens like that. None of us can manifest that well. Everything takes time. There are setbacks. There are people that want more. I became extremely emotionally invested, especially after seeing the victims of these horrific crimes. There are a couple of scenes where you see an abuser admit to it like it's normal, and it's really weird. Rachel McAdams is in the scene. She hasn't got a clue what to say or do. Nobody expects somebody to say, yeah, I molested children, because for most people in this world, I would pray and hope that they consider child molestation as the biggest crime in the globe. It's not just about these paedophiles, it's also about how to make the best, most effective story possible. And this type of story requires that. It needs to be perfect in order to make the change, to change the world, which it literally did do. This movie, seriously, is why films should be made. It's probably not why they are made, but it's why they should be. This movie is eye-opening, it's scary, it's hard to look at. My only hang-up with the film is that it's really long, and for long periods of time, not a great deal happens. So if I'm going to rate this movie, I will give it a solid 8 out of 10. Rewatchability, I'd probably say every 12 months. It wouldn't be a movie that I would want to watch frequently, because it hits me hard in a way. Watching the victims talk about their abuse and how they feel that they've been let down by the media, which they quite rightly have. So, that was today's movie review show. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it. I hope to continue doing it for a long time. Hopefully, as it gets better, my studio will actually be able to rise from the ashes, and we'll have posters and stuff, and it won't just be me sat here blindly talking to you guys. So thanks for watching. You've been awesome. I hope I've been awesome. Until next week, see you later.